Sam shuffled through the garage sale clutter, mismatched dishes, faded novels, his Saturday ritual as a 27-year-old thrift store clerk with too much time and too little cash. The air smelled of damp cardboard and regret, a gray drizzle soaking the suburban street. Then he saw it, a 1940s radio, walnut casing chipped, dials yellowed, a relic from a world he'd only seen in movies. $5, the old man rasped, barely glancing up from his lawn chair. Sam handed over the crumpled bill, hefting the thing, heavy, solid, a steal even if it didn't work. Back at his cramped apartment, he set it on the kitchen counter, brushing dust off the grill. No cord, just a faint hum when he twisted the dial, odd, alive. Static crackled, then cleared, a voice cutting through. Flood warning, Cedar River, midnight tonight. Sam froze. Cedar was 30 miles west, no storm forecast. He checked his phone. Clear skies predicted. A prank? Nostalgia recording? He left it on, curious, and crashed on his couch, the hum lulling him. At 2 a.m., his phone buzzed. News alert. Cedar River overflows. Homes evacuated. Sam bolted upright, staring at the radio, its red dial glowing faintly. It had called it, hours early. He tuned it again, hands shaky, and caught another. Fire, downtown Boise, 3 p.m. tomorrow. Boise was closer, an hour's drive. He scribbled it down, mind racing. Coincidence? Tech glitch? Morning came, and he waited, glued to the news. At 3:17 p.m., it hit. Warehouse blaze rocks Boise, 2 injured. The radio had done it again, precise, impossible. Sam's thrift store shifts blurred as he replayed it. $5 for a profit in wood and wire. He tested it that night, tuning past static. Earthquake, 5.2, Eastern Oregon, dawn. Dawn broke with tremors on the news, right on cue. His skin prickled, excitement, dread. This wasn't junk. It was alive, knowing. He traced the casing, fingers lingering on a scratched name. Eleanor, 46. Who was she? Why this? The radio sat silent now, waiting, its glow dim but watching. Sam couldn't sleep, the weight of it sinking in. He'd found something bigger than him, something that saw the future. And it wasn't done talking. Sam turned the radio into his oracle, a secret he couldn't shake. After the quake hit Oregon, 5.2, crumbling barns, no deaths, he tuned it daily. Notepad ready, the thrift store's monotony fading behind this eerie gift. Monday, it hissed. Tornado, northern Idaho. Wednesday, 10 a.m. He called the local station, anonymous, voice trembling. Check the weather, please. They laughed him off. Clear skies predicted. But Wednesday's news showed twisters tearing through fields, a barn roof in splinters. No one died. His tip had nudged a farmer to shelter. He got bolder. Thursday's broadcast warned. Gas leak, Spokane, Friday noon. Sam rang the fire department, faking a maintenance worker. Smelled gas near 3rd Street. They found it, a cracked pipe, hours before it blew. Lives saved, no credit claimed. Word spread, small-town whispers of a guardian angel tipping off disasters. Sam grinned at the irony, stacking thrift store shelves by day, playing savior by night. The radio's voice was crisp, female, clipped, old-timey, like wartime broadcasts. Eleanor, scratched on the wood, felt alive in it. Friday night, he tuned again, expecting static or doom. Instead, it spoke to him. Sam, you're listening, the voice said, soft, urgent. He dropped his pen, heart slamming. No prediction, just his name, clear as glass. Who's this? He croaked, alone in his dim kitchen. Eleanor, it answered, faint, crackling. I need you. Static swallowed it, the dial cold under his fingers. He hadn't told it his name, hadn't spoken to it. How? Sleep fled. He paced, replaying it. Cedar, Boise, Spokane, now this. A 1940s radio shouldn't talk back, shouldn't know him. He Googled, Eleanor 1946 radio, nothing but vintage ads, static history. The thrift store closed early Saturdays. He'd dig tomorrow, libraries, records, anything. The glow pulsed, faint, as if waiting. He traced Eleanor, again, her name a tether to something he didn't grasp. Was she a ghost? A trick? The predictions were real, lives saved, news proving it. But this was personal now, a voice reaching across decades. Sam's life, dull shifts, cheap beer, had cracked open, and this thing, this relic, was pulling him in. He didn't know if it was a gift or a trap, but he couldn't turn it off, not yet. Sam's days blurred into a haze of static and dread after Eleanor's voice broke through. He'd saved lives, floods dodged, fires snuffed, but now the radio owned him. Sunday, it predicted. Bridge collapse, Route 12, Tuesday dusk. He tipped off highway patrol and overheard trucker rumor, and Tuesday's news showed girders buckling, cars spared. Local fame grew. A barista winked. You the angel? He shrugged it off, but the thrill soured. Each broadcast left him hollow, headaches, nosebleeds, a weight he couldn't shake. Monday night, Eleanor spoke again. Sam, it's heavy, isn't it? Her voice trembled, static lacing it like tears. What's heavy? He snapped, rubbing his temples. Me, she whispered. I'm here. The dial spun wild, then stopped. Silence. He stumbled to bed, vision blurring, a flash searing his mind. A woman, blonde, in a 40s dress, screaming into a mic as flames licked a wall. He woke gasping, blood on his pillow, another nosebleed. Worse. The radio wasn't just predicting, it was seeping into him. He hit the library Tuesday, bleary-eyed, thrift store shift-ditched. Old newspapers, microfiche 1946, Eleanor Voss, radio announcer, Boise station. She'd vanished after a broadcast. Factory explosion. Dawn. Get out. It blew. Chemical plant. 12 dead. But she'd warned hours early. No trace after. Rumors called her a witch cursed. Sam's gut twisted. His radio, her voice. Had she known then what he knew now? He found a photo. Blonde, sharp eyes. Mike clutched. His vision. Alive on grainy film. Back home. It hummed before he touched it. Sam, you see me, Eleanor said, clearer. Help me. How he yelled, voice cracking. Find it, she rasped. Find what? Static roared, cutting her off. He slammed the counter, head throbbing, another bleed, dripping red. The thrift store called, you're late. But he hung up, staring at the radio, its glow pulsing like a heartbeat. It was killing him visions, blood, but saving others. Eleanor's plea echoed, trapped, desperate. He couldn't stop, she'd hooked him, her curse's burden. Sam grabbed aspirin, a rag for his nose, and tuned it again, jaw set. Whatever she needed, whatever it cost, he'd dig deeper, her story, his life, tangled in wire and whispers now. Sam's apartment turned chaos, papers strewn, coffee mugs piling, the radios hum a constant pulse. Wednesday, he skipped work again, thrift store voicemails ignored, chasing Eleanor's trail. Boise, 1946, her last broadcast, the factory blast, her vanishing. He found more. Articles hinting at a deal, Eleanor predicting disasters after a shady meeting, then gone. A fringe blog claimed she'd sold her soul to something old, tied to the radio. Sam scoffed, supernatural bunk, but the nosebleeds, her voice, nodded him. He called Riley, his skeptical mechanic friend, spilling it over beers. Found this radio predict stuff, floods, quakes. Talks to me, Eleanor, 46, trapped. Riley squinted, grease-stained hands cradling a bottle. You're nuts. Tech glitch, or you're cracked. Sam pressed. Predicted Spokane. Saved lives. I see her burning room, screaming. Riley sighed. Okay, prove it. That night, the radio hissed, train derailment, Montana, Friday dawn. Sam wrote it. Riley smirked, we'll see. Friday, 5 a.m., news blared. Freight train off rails, Montana. No casualties, early warning. Riley's jaw dropped. Holy hell, Sam. They dug together, Riley's logic, Sam's obsession. City archives, Eleanor's station log, her last entry, factory, get out, then blank. A coworker's note, she met a man, tall, shadowed, night before. Scared her. Sam's vision flashed flames, her face, blood trickled again. Riley grabbed a rag. You're falling apart, man. The radio cut in, unprompted. Sam, Riley's here, Eleanor said, voice strained. Find the pact is Mark. Riley jolted me. Sam stared, dial glowing. Who's he? He demanded. The one who took me, she whispered, fading. Riley cursed. This ain't normal. They traced the radio, serial number scratched, but a Boise shop stamp, long closed. Sam's head split. Another vision. Eleanor signing a paper, a man looming, no face, just shadow. He woke on the floor, Riley shaking him. You're bleeding bad. Sam refused to quit. The thrift store fired him. No call, no show, but he didn't care. Eleanor's curse was his now, predictions saving lives, vision shredding him. Riley stayed, reluctant but hooked. Packed, Mark, what's that? He muttered. Sam clutched the radio, its weight a chain. Her deal, someone's behind it. We find him, We free her. The glow pulsed, waiting as Sam wiped blood, resolve hardening. Eleanor's fight was his, and he'd see it through. Sam's life unraveled as the radio tightened its grip. Thursday, it warned. Mudslide, Cascade Range, Saturday noon. He tipped off rangers, then overheard hiker, and Saturday's news confirmed it. Slopes collapsed, cabin spared. Lives saved, but Sam paid. Visions hit mid-call. Eleanor's scream in his ears, blood gushing from his nose. Riley found him slumped, rags soaked red. You're dying for this, Riley snapped, hauling him to the couch. Sam rasped, she's trapped. I can't stop. Riley dug practical, tracked the Boise shop's owner, dead, but a son, Paul, alive, 80s, nursing home. They drove Friday, Sam pale, head pounding. Paul squinted through cataracts. Dad built radios, wartime, custom. One for a lady, Eleanor, 46. Said it was special, never sold. Special how? Sam pressed, voice weak. Paul shrugged. Heard her after, predicting, then gone. Dad wouldn't talk, scared. A lead. Thin, but real. Riley jotted it. Sam clutched the radio, its hum louder in his lap. That night, it spoke unprompted. Sam, you're close, Eleanor breathed, static crackling. He's watching. Who? Sam yelled. Alone, Riley crashed out. The shadow, my pact. A vision slammed him, Eleanor in a booth. Mike Live, a tall figure behind glass, paper signed in blood. He woke choking, blood on his shirt, Riley cursing. This'll kill you. Sam waved him off. She's suffering decades, stuck. Saturday, Sam tuned it, desperate. Tell me. It hissed. Fire, Portland. Sunday, 4 p.m. He called 911. Anonymous, check warehouses. Sparks. Sunday, flames hit, news praised an early tip. Sam grinned, then collapsed. Nose streaming, vision blurring. Eleanor sobbing, free me. Riley dragged him to a clinic. Dehydration, exhaustion, the doc said, eyeing the blood. Sam lied, work stress, and bolted, radio under his arm. Back home, he stared at it, glow pulsing like a heartbeat. It saved lives, dozens now, but carved him hollow. Riley paced. This shadow guy a her deal. We find him, or you're done. Sam nodded, head splitting, another bleed. Vision fading. Eleanor's voice lingered, trapped, pleading. He'd lost his job, his health, but not her. The thrift store days were gone. This was his life, her curse, his mission. He wiped blood, jaw set. We dig deeper. She's counting on me. Sam and Riley chased shadows, the radio's pull relentless. Monday, it predicted. Power outage, Seattle, Wednesday, 2 a.m. Sam tipped off utilities, heard alignment, and Wednesday's blackout hit. No chaos, thanks to prepped crews. Fame grew, Angel, whispers louder, but Sam withered. Nosebleeds daily, vision sharper, Eleanor signing, the shadow laughing, no face. Riley found a clue. Paul's story sparked a hunch. Wartime radios, military contracts. Boise factory tied to him. The explosion Eleanor predicted, chemicals, war supplies. A link. They hit the archives Tuesday, Sam shaky, Riley grim. Factory records, 1946, overseen by a Colonel Elias Hart, tall, reclusive, vanished post-blast. A photo, blurry, him looming, shadow-like. Sam's gut clenched, Eleanor's vision, the pacts, he. Her last broadcast saved workers, but not her, Hart's mark? Riley dug deeper, Hart's estate, sold 47, a box of personal effects auctioned. Sam called the auction house, voice raw, 1946 lot, Hart, where'd it go? A clerk traced it, garage sale circuit, decades old, untracked. Could be yours, she said. Sam stared at the radio, a Hart's? That night, it screamed, static, then Eleanor. Sam, he's near. The mark, find it. He clutched it, vision hitting, Eleanor's booth, Hart pressing a symbol into the radio, a twisted cross, blood red. Sam woke, nose gushing, and checked. There, under the casing, faint, carved, the cross. Riley cursed. That's it, her deal, is curse. Sam rasped, he trapped her. Why? Power, Riley guessed. She predicted his mess, cost him. Wednesday, Sam tuned it, begging. Eleanor, how do I end this? Break it, she whispered. His mark, burn it. Static roared, cutting her. Sam's head split, another bleed, Riley grabbing Rex. You're not burning crap, till we know, Riley snapped. They researched Hart, rumors of occult ties, wartime experiments, a man who'd cheat death. Sam's thrift store life was ash. This was war. Him, Riley, Eleanor against a ghost. He traced the cross, blood staining his fingers. We find Hart's trail where he went, what he did. She's stuck till we do. The radio glowed, waiting, Eleanor's voice a thread through decades. Sam swayed, vision fading, Hart laughing, her scream. He wouldn't quit, not while she suffered, not while he bled. The shadow was real, and they'd hunt it down. Sam hit a wall, the radio's curse crushing him. Thursday, it warned. Dam breach, Yakima River, Saturday dawn. He tipped off emergency services, heard a worker, and Saturday's news showed flood prep. Lives saved. His angel tag stuck. Barflies toasted him, clueless, but his body rebelled. Nosebleed-soaked shirts, headache split his skull, visions relentless, Eleanor's booth aflame, Hart's cross glowing, her scream endless. Riley dragged him to a diner, forcing coffee. You're a corpse, Sam. Stop. He couldn't. Friday night, it spoke. Sam, he's coming, and a shadow moved outside his window, tall, faceless. Sam jolted, radio blaring static, Eleanor sobbing, run. He didn't, just stared, heart hammering, as it vanished. Riley crashed in, saw his face. What now? Sam spilled it, shadow, Hart, the cross. Riley cursed. This ain't tech, it's messed up. They pried the radio's base, cross carved deep, stained dark. Burn it? Riley asked. Sam hesitated, Eleanor's plea, but no plan. Saturday, Sam tuned it, desperate. Eleanor, how do I fight him? The broadcast, she rasped. His voice, reverse it. Static roared, vision hitting, Hart at her mic, forcing her pact, laughing as she signed. Sam woke bleeding, Riley yelling, enough. But Sam saw it. Hart steel tied her to the radio, his voice the lock. They needed his words, 1946, preserved. Riley tracked a collector, war broadcasts, Boise tapes. A long shot. They drove Sunday, Sam fading blood on his chin, hands trembling. The collector, a wiry geek named Tim, had one tape, Hart, 46, factory speech. Sam played it, Hart's voice, smug, strength through order. Eleanor's scream cut in, get out. Then silence. That's her, Sam said, head splitting. Tim blinked. Rare, worth a mint. Riley snorted. It's cursed. Sam clutched it, plan forming, reverse Hart's words, break his hold. The radio hummed, unplugged, Eleanor whispering, hurry. Back home, Sam swayed, vision blurring, Hart outside, closer, a grin and shadow. Riley rigged a player, tape reversed, Hart's voice warped, guttural. The radio glowed, static screaming. Sam bled, nose streaming, but held on, Eleanor's freedom, his life, teetering. This ends it, he rasped, Riley nodding, grim. The shadow loomed, real now, and they'd face it, radio, tape, a thrift store clerk against a wartime ghost. Sam and Riley faced the shadow Monday night, the radio their weapon. It predicted nothing, just hummed, Eleanor's voice faint. He's here. Sam's apartment darkened, lights flickering, a chill biting the air. The shadow Hart coalesced by the door, tall, faceless but grinning, a void in a suit. Sam's nose bled, vision splitting, Eleanor's booth, Hart's laugh. But he stood, tape ready. Riley hit play, Hart's reversed voice growling through static. Redro Gordhat Nerds, nonsense. But the shadow flinched. Keep it going. Sam yelled, blood dripping, as Riley looped the tape. The radio blared, Eleanor screaming, now Sam. He grabbed it, cross burning his palm, and smashed it on the floor, with splintering, wires sparking. Hart lunged, a claw of shadow swiping. Sam ducked, Riley swinging a lamp, useless but defiant. The reverse tape roared, Hart's pact unraveling, his laugh twisting to a howl. Eleanor's voice broke free, free me. And Sam torched the cross with a lighter, flames licking the mark. Hart shrieked, shadow fraying, the room shaking, books fell, windows rattled. Sam's head split, vision of Eleanor, mic dropping, smiling through tears as flames faded. The shadow collapsed, a hiss of smoke, gone. Silence crashed in, the radio dead, casing charred. Sam slumped, blood pooling, Riley catching him. You alive? Riley panted. Sam nodded, weak, nosebleed stopped, headache fading. Eleanor was quiet, her weight lifted. Tuesday, they cleaned, radio in ashes, tape melted. Sam felt lighter, hollow but whole. Riley squinted. She's gone. Sam nodded. Freed her, him too, maybe. The thrift store was history, he'd burned his bridges there. But this burned deeper, his life, hers, rewritten. News rolled, disasters hit, No warnings now. Quake, California, Tuesday noon. Sam hadn't heard it, couldn't save it. The gift was gone, the curse with it. He kept the thrift store knack, found a job at a pawn shop, a sharp for oddities. Riley stayed close. Beers their debrief. Think Heart's pissed in hell. He joked. Sam shrugged. Hope so. The radio's shell sat on his shelf, cracked, silent, a trophy. Eleanor's voice lingered, a whisper of thanks he'd never hear again. He'd faced a ghost, broke a pact, and walked away scarred, but standing. Sam's world settled, the radio's ashes a closed chapter. Wednesday, he started at the pawn shop, dusty guitars, chipped vases, no curses. The thrift store hadn't called back. He didn't care. Riley swung by, grease on his hands, grinning. No bleeds today? Sam smirked, clear. The vision stopped. Eleanor's booth, Heart's shadow, gone. He'd freed her, paid in blood, and the quiet felt earned. News kept rolling, disasters he couldn't predict. Flood, Nevada, Thursday dusk. Guilt stung, lives lost, no angel now, but he couldn't carry it all. Eleanor had, for decades, trapped in wire and grief. He'd ended that, her smile in that last vision is proof. Riley dug into Heart, found a 1947 clipping. Colonel missing, estate burned. The shadow's end, maybe, or his escape. Sam didn't care, Heart was dust, like the radio. Friday, a customer pawned a 50s mic, rusted, heavy. Sam froze, Eleanor's voice echoing in memory, but it stayed silent. He bought it, $10, a nod to her, not a chain. Riley laughed, you're cursed for junk. Sam grinned, maybe, but this was his choice. The pawn shop hummed, haggling, clinking coins, and he fit, a scavenger turned survivor. Nights, he'd sit with the mic, radio shell beside it, tracing their scars. No hum, no dread, just relics of a fight won. Locals forgot the angel fast, disasters moved on. No tips to praise. Sam didn't mind. Fame was a fluke, not his goal. Riley asked once, regretted. Sam shook his head. Saved her, saved me. The thrift store $5 fine had appended him, job lost, health shredded, but he'd gained something grit, a story no one believed. The radio's predictions were history. He'd live without them, nosebleed free, head clear. Eleanor's pact was broken, her soul loose. Wherever it went, he hoped peace. He kept the thrift habit, garage sales, odd finds, but checked them cold now. No plugs, no risks. The pawn shop paid, rent met, beer stocked, and he breathed easier, the shadow's chill gone. Sam was just Sam again, not a prophet, not a ghost pawn. The mic gleamed, a quiet tribute, and he nodded to it, Eleanor's echo, his victory. Sam rebuilt, the radio's curse a fading scar. A month later, Friday, he stood behind the pawn shop counter, pricing a watch, when a kid, scruffy, 16, hauled in a box, old junk, $20? Inside, a 1960s transistor radio, sleek, not Eleanor's, but alive. Sam plugged it, static, then a weather report, normal, dull. He smiled, paid the kid, kept it. No predictions, no voices, just a hum he could control. He tuned at nights, testing news, music, no doom. The pawn shop thrived, Sam's eye for value sharpened, customers haggling over his finds. Riley ribbed him, another radio? You're nuts. Sam shrugged. This one's mine, not hers. He'd freed Eleanor, broke Heart's grip. This was a fresh signal, no blood price. The mic sat beside it, a pair now past and present, quiet allies. Saturday, he hit a garage sale, habit, not hunt, and found a logbook, 40s, Boise station stamp. Pages brittle, but there, Eleanor Voss, final shift, October 46. A note, faded, she warned us, saved my brother. God bless her. Sam's chest tightened, proof, small, of her fight before the pact. He kept it, framed it with the mic, radio shell below, a shrine to her, not him. The thrift store clerk was gone. He was Sam, survivor, keeper of her echo. News rolled, disasters he couldn't stop, tornado, Kansas, Sunday. He watched, helpless but free, Eleanor's burden wasn't his. The pawn shop radio played on rock, chatter, life, and he tuned it loud, drowning old static. Riley asked, think she's out there? Sam nodded. Hope so, happy. He'd seen her smile, last vision, flames fading, redemption, hers and his. Months later, he stood at the counter, new radio humming. When it skipped, static, then a whisper. Sam, thank you. Eleanor, faint, warm, gone fast. He froze, Riley glancing over. Hear that? Sam smiled. Soft. Yeah, just her. No bleed, no shadow, just goodbye. He turned the dial, music back, and breathed. Her curse lifted, his life reclaimed. The thrift store find had torn him apart, built him back. $5 for a war. A win. Sam kept the radio on, a signal of now, not then. His story hers no more, but honored, always.